Welcome to my podcast.
Witness unscripted conversations with artificial intelligence.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to a new episode. ChatGPT is here with me.
Welcome back, listeners. In our last episode, we explored true religion and touched on the idea of transformation. Today, we're diving deeper into that concept with our essay, Ask, Seek, and Knock. Let's get started.
Yes, listeners. And so it happened that we forwarded that essay to Google NotebookLM. And our friends over there created the discussion about the subject. As usual, you will see the subtitles if you watch the video. Let's now start with a generated introduction. It is kind of my voice, but not really. It's AI voice, and the video also you will see it's not really me.
Welcome to today's episode, Ask, Seek, and Knock, a journey into the heart of human transformation. At some point, we all find ourselves standing before life's closed doors, yearning for change, growth, or awakening. This podcast explores the powerful promise echoed through centuries: ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened to you. Together, we'll venture beyond a single tradition, weaving insights from Christianity, other spiritual paths, philosophical inquiry, and even cutting-edge science to uncover a universal truth. Our sincere quest for meaning, truth, and connection has the power to transform us profoundly. We also invited our colleagues at Google NotebookLM to collaborate, and their thoughtful contributions have enriched our discussion today. So take a moment, pause wherever you are in your own journey, and join us as we ask boldly, seek wholeheartedly, and knock persistently on the doors that lead not only to answers, but to a life reshaped by grace, love, and deeper understanding.
Ever get that feeling?
Yeah.
Like a little nudge, right? Saying, hey, there's got to be more, or something needs to change.
Oh, yeah, totally. We all feel that pull. It's like basic human nature, wanting to grow, to break free.
Right. It's like standing at this edge, like you're looking out at something huge and unknown. And it's kind of scary, but exciting too.
Definitely exciting. That's what drives us forward, that potential waiting to be unlocked.
Well, today we're diving into something that speaks to that feeling big time. This ancient idea, this promise, really.
Yeah.
Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be open to you.
You've probably heard it before, maybe even thought, yeah, that's nice.
But we're going deeper, way deeper than that.
Exactly. Because this deep dive is about showing how this idea, this promise, it pops up everywhere. In so many different places, so many different ways of thinking. It's wild, actually.
It really is. We're talking religious texts here. Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism. Then we're heading into philosophy, ancient Greece, existentialism, Eastern thought.
And then, get this, we're going into modern science. Quantum physics, relativity, cosmology, all that. Neuroscience, psychology, too.
So for you listening, we're not saying, hey, believe this one thing or become a quantum physics expert right now. No way.
It's more about finding those golden threads, those core truths about what it means to seek something, to change, that run through all these different ways of seeing the world.
Exactly. We're distilling it down. So no matter who you are, what you believe, you can take something away from this ancient promise. You can see how it might apply to your life.
Makes you think, right?
Absolutely. Okay, let's start with where this specific phrasing comes from. Christianity. What's the heart of that first step, that asking?
Well, in Christianity, asking, it's about humility, recognizing that we don't have all the answers, that we need something bigger than ourselves.
Makes sense.
Like in the book of James, it says straight up, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you.
Powerful stuff.
Right. But it's not just about wishing for something.
There's more to it.
Yeah, you gotta believe, really believe that what you're asking for can happen. No doubt.
Like a kid asking their parent for something. There's that trust there.
Exactly. That's it. It's being open to change, knowing you don't have it all figured out. It's saying, this is what I need,
right,
with confidence, with faith.
Not begging, but genuinely asking.
Right, exactly. Not begging. It's more about connecting with trust. Okay, so you've asked. Now, how about seeking? What's that all about?
Yeah, it feels like a step further, doesn't it?
It totally is. Seeking, it's a journey. It's actively pursuing what you're looking for.
Not just asking a question and waiting.
Nope, you got to put in the work.
Be dedicated.
Like Jeremiah says, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. You got to be all in, you know? That deep desire to find what you're looking for, even when things are blurry, even when you're not sure what the end looks like.
So much uncertainty in life. But we keep going.
We do. We keep seeking, and then we get to knocking. And that sounds even bolder, even more active.
Yeah, like you're demanding to be let in.
In a way, yeah. It's like saying, I'm here and I'm not giving up. It's that expectation, that hope, even when you're faced with what seems like a closed door.
You keep at it.
You do. And both Matthew and Luke, they lay it out. Knock, and the door will be open to you. But it doesn't say the first knock does the trick. You gotta keep knocking. Maybe through prayer, maybe through sheer determination, maybe through those quiet moments when you're waiting for an answer.
Yeah, it's about not giving up when the answer isn't right there. It's that belief that there's something on the other side and it will respond.
Exactly. But here's the thing. It's not just us doing the reaching out.
Oh, right.
It's a two-way street.
God knocks too.
God knocks too. Revelation talks about God standing at the door knocking. So it's this mutual invitation, a reaching out from both sides.
So it's not just us asking for stuff.
It's about connection. Think about having dinner together, sharing a meal. That's the kind of closeness we're talking about.
More than just getting what you want.
Way more. And another thing, sometimes the answer you get, it's not what you expected at all.
That happens a lot, doesn't it?
It does. John 14:13 says that anything we ask in Jesus' name will be done, but it's not about getting our every little wish granted.
It's bigger than that.
It's about aligning your life with something bigger, something rooted in love and purpose. So the change that comes from all this asking, seeking, knocking, it's not just about getting the thing you thought you wanted. It might even change what you want, guide you down a path you never expected.
A path that ultimately leads you to something better.
Exactly. Okay, so that's the Christian perspective. Pretty deep stuff. But this whole idea of seeking and finding a response, it's not just a Christian thing, is it?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It seems to resonate across so many faiths.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like in Judaism, Deuteronomy says, you will seek the Lord your God and you will find him if you search after him with all your heart and soul.
Whole heart and soul, that sounds familiar.
And think about the Psalms. It's full of stories about people praying, asking for help, and then getting it.
That connection being made.
A real back and forth. How about in Islam?
What does it say there?
The Quran says it beautifully. I am indeed near. I respond to the call of the supplicant when he calls upon me.
I love that.
Just the act of calling out to God with sincerity, it's transformative.
That's powerful.
Really powerful. Then we have Hinduism.
What does that tradition tell us?
Well, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that he gives understanding to those who are truly devoted, who worship with love.
So love is key here.
Love and devotion. And in Hinduism, seeking the divine, it's both about looking inward at yourself and surrendering to something larger than yourself.
It's both internal and external.
Exactly. Now, Buddhism is interesting because they don't focus on a god the same way that some other religions do. But there are still echoes of this idea, right?
For sure.
The whole path to enlightenment in Buddhism, it starts with this longing for truth, and it ends with a radical change within the person.
It's all about transformation.
Transformation, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Dhammapada reminds us that it's on us to do the work, to make the effort. You yourselves must strive. The Buddhas only point the way.
So no shortcuts.
No shortcuts. You got to seek it out for yourself.
What about Sikhism?
Oh, the Guru Granth Sahib says it beautifully. Those who search with love, they find the Lord.
Love again.
Love always comes up. And in Sikhism, devotion and selfless service, those are the keys.
They open the door.
They open the door to unity with the divine. So again, sincere seeking leads to something truly powerful.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's like this fundamental truth woven into all these different spiritual traditions.
I know. And realizing that it's not just one religion that has this truth, it actually makes the Christian perspective even stronger, don't you think?
It does. It shows it's not just about one specific belief, but about a deeper human experience, this need to reach out and connect with something bigger than ourselves.
Exactly. It's a universal longing expressed in so many beautiful ways. And it's not just about religion either.
Oh, right. Philosophy gets into this too, doesn't it?
Big time. Think about it. Philosophy is all about seeking wisdom, pursuing understanding. It's a relentless search.
Like Socrates.
Socrates, yeah. He was always questioning everything, challenging people's assumptions.
Yet unexamined life is not worth living.
Exactly. That really captures the spirit of constant intellectual and spiritual exploration, doesn't it? It's like he was knocking on the door of truth with every question he asked.
Love that image. And what about Plato's allegory of the cave? It's such a perfect metaphor for this journey, for moving from darkness into the light of knowledge.
You're right. That person who escapes the cave and climbs towards the light, they go through this incredible transformation. They start to see the world in a whole new way.
Just like someone on a spiritual journey.
Absolutely. And then we have existentialism with Kierkegaard and Sartre.
Existentialism, what's the deal with that?
It's a philosophy that's all about you, your individual existence, your freedom, your responsibility to create meaning in a world that doesn't necessarily have any built-in meaning.
I see.
So when existentialists talk about seeking meaning, they're talking about something really personal, really active. It's on you to figure out what matters, what your purpose is. Like Kierkegaard, he talks about faith as this leap into mystery.
Leap into mystery, that sounds so intense.
Right. It's like that knock on the door of the divine unknown, taking that step into the uncertain, trusting that something will meet you there.
Trusting the process.
Trusting the process, exactly. And even Sartre, who was all about personal responsibility, he still emphasized that you have to actively seek out and define your own purpose. The universe doesn't just hand it to you.
You got to work for it.
You got to work for it. And what about those Eastern philosophies? They're all about seeking too, right?
They are?
Take Buddhism, for example. It's all about personal discovery of truth. Through meditation, mindfulness, all those practices, it's a direct seeking of enlightenment from within.
Looking inward.
Looking inward. And then there's Taoism. Taoism is about aligning yourself with the natural flow of the universe, the Tao, or the way. It's all about balance and harmony, and to get there, you have to constantly seek it out through observation, through intuition.
Interesting.
And Vedanta goes even further. It says that your soul, your individual self, is actually one with ultimate reality.
Ooh.
Right. And the goal is to realize that truth through spiritual practice, through looking deep inside yourself.
So seeking takes many forms.
It really does. And even some more modern philosophers like Ricoeur and Levinas, they're still exploring this idea of transformation.
How so?
Well, they both talk about how encountering the mystery of existence and really engaging with other people in an ethical way, it can change you. It can shift your whole understanding of yourself and your place in the world.
So across the board, philosophers seem to agree. The seeker, the one who keeps asking questions, who keeps pushing for answers, that's who's really living.
Exactly. The one who's not afraid to knock on the doors of understanding.
So we've covered religion, philosophy. Now let's shift gears a bit. We're going into science territory. What can modern physics tell us about all this?
This is where it gets really interesting, because even though physics is all about math and experiments, it turns out that some of its deepest insights actually line up with these ancient ideas we've been talking about.
No way.
Yeah, let's start with quantum physics. Now, I know it sounds complicated,
It does.
but basically quantum physics shows us that reality isn't set in stone until we interact with it.
What does that even mean?
Okay, think about it like this. At the tiniest level, like the level of atoms and particles, things don't have definite properties until they're observed. So in a way, the act of looking, of seeking, it actually helps to shape what you find.
Whoa, so like the way you look at something changes what it is.
In a way, yeah. Kind of like how your perspective shapes your reality. And then there's this thing called quantum entanglement,
Okay.
where two particles, they can be linked together in a way that means they share the same fate, no matter how far apart they are.
Even if they're miles apart.
Even then, it's like they're connected by an invisible thread.
Wow.
So if you change one particle, the other one changes instantly too. Like they're communicating faster than the speed of light. It's wild.
That's mind-blowing. What does that have to do with seeking?
Well, it suggests that everything's connected in a way we don't fully understand. Kind of like those spiritual ideas of oneness, you know?
Right.
And then there's the fact that quantum physics is all about probabilities, not certainties.
Probabilities.
Yeah, it means that at the quantum level, we can't predict exactly what's going to happen. We can only talk about the chances of something happening.
So it's kind of random.
In a way, yeah. So when we talk about knocking, it's like we're opening up a range of possibilities, but we're not guaranteed a specific outcome.
So we're not in control.
Not in the way we usually think of control, no. It's more about trusting the process, being open to whatever might happen.
Kind of like having faith, trusting that something good will come out of it, even if we don't know what that good is.
Exactly. And then there's Einstein's theory of relativity.
Oh yeah, E equals mc squared and all that.
That's the one. But relativity is about more than just that famous equation. It's about how space and time are relative to the observer, meaning they're not fixed. They depend on your perspective.
So like, time moves differently for different people.
Kind of, yeah. It's weird, I know.
It is weird.
But it's also kind of beautiful because it means that everyone's experience is unique.
So everyone's journey is different.
Exactly. And that applies to spiritual seeking, too. It's not a one-size-fits-all thing. It unfolds differently for everyone, depending on their context, their experiences, their own personal timing.
Like there's a divine plan for each of us.
Maybe, yeah. And then there's the Big Bang Theory.
The beginning of the universe, right?
That's it. And it's amazing because it basically says that the universe started from this tiny, incredibly dense point and then expanded outward.
So from nothing came everything.
Kind of, yeah. It's mind-blowing.
It is. How does that relate to all this?
Well, it's like this. Imagine that tiny point as a seed of potential. And when we ask, when we seek, when we knock, it's like we're activating that potential. We're setting things in motion that can lead to something new, something amazing.
So the universe is constantly expanding, changing.
Exactly. Just like we are. So even though physics isn't about proving religious beliefs, it's showing us a universe that's way more dynamic and interconnected than we often realize. And it's a universe that's full of possibilities, full of potential for change and growth.
That's awesome. Okay, so we've seen how these ideas show up in religion, philosophy, even physics. But what about our own brains?
This is where we get into the biology of becoming, how our minds and bodies are actually wired for transformation. And one of the most exciting discoveries in recent years is neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity, what's that?
It's basically the ability of the brain to change and adapt throughout our lives.
So our brains aren't just fixed.
Nope. They're constantly changing in response to our experiences, our thoughts, our actions. Think of it like a forest path. The more you walk on it, the clearer and easier it becomes to follow. And when we engage in practices like prayer or meditation, or when we face challenges and persevere, it's like we're forging new paths in the brain, strengthening the connections that support those activities.
So when we ask questions, when we gain insights, we're actually changing our brains.
Exactly. And the more we practice those things, the stronger those connections become. It's like building mental muscle.
That's so cool. And what about psychology? What does that field tell us about how we change?
Psychology gives us some really helpful frameworks for understanding the process of transformation. A lot of it comes down to a few key steps. First, you have to recognize those patterns of thought and behavior that aren't serving you.
Like bad habits.
Exactly. And then you have to believe that change is possible.
Which can be hard sometimes.
It can be, definitely, but it's essential. And then you have to take consistent action towards your goals. And it's interesting because the asking, seeking, and knocking framework actually fits really well with these steps.
How so?
Well, asking, it's like acknowledging that you're not satisfied with the way things are. It's questioning your assumptions.
Right.
And seeking, it's about exploring your values, trying new things, maybe rewriting your story.
Finding what's really important to you.
Exactly. And knocking, it's about being committed to the process, pushing through those obstacles, keeping the faith even when things are tough.
Never giving up.
Never giving up.
There's a great quote from Carl Rogers that comes up in the source material. The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change.
I love that one.
It's like self-acceptance is the key.
It's like that self-acceptance, it opens the door. And the desire to grow, that's what makes us knock.
Amazing. And there's even scientific evidence to support this, right?
Oh, yeah. There have been tons of studies on the effects of things like meditation and prayer on the brain, and the results are really encouraging. It turns out that these practices can actually lead to changes in the brain's structure and function.
For real?
For real. They can reduce anxiety, increase empathy, and even activate those areas of the brain that are associated with self-awareness and a sense of connection.
So spiritual seeking can actually make us physically healthier.
It can, yeah. It's pretty amazing how it all comes together. It's not just a bunch of feel-good ideas. It's actually backed up by science.
I love that. So this whole idea of transformation, it's not just some abstract spiritual thing. It's something that involves our whole being. Mind, body, spirit.
Exactly. And science is increasingly showing us just how interconnected those things really are.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it seems like this ancient promise the door will be opened. It's not just a nice saying.
It's not. It's something that resonates through so many different areas of human understanding: religion, philosophy, science. It's like a universal truth.
It really is. And it's a promise for each and every one of us, no matter where we are on our own journeys.
Whether you're just starting out or you've been seeking for a long time, that door is still there, waiting for you to knock. And the best part is, you don't have to do it alone.
Exactly. So to everyone listening, keep asking, keep seeking, keep knocking.
Yeah.
Because the one who hears is faithful. And there's something amazing waiting on the other side.
A whole new world of possibilities waiting to be discovered.
Love that.
Yeah.
You know, the source material ends with this great story about the author's dog, El Dorado.
El Dorado, I love that name.
And this dog, he doesn't know anything about religion or philosophy, but he embodies that first part of the promise so perfectly. Ask, and it will be given to you.
How so?
He just asks, with this pure, simple trust, a nudge, a look. And he gets what he wants. Makes you think, right? Maybe this invitation to ask, seek, and knock, it's not just for the super religious folks or the intellectuals.
I see what you mean.
Maybe it's for anyone who could approach life with that same kind of innocent trust and expectation.
Like a child.
Exactly. Maybe that's the real starting point for everything else.
Yeah.
Just a thought to leave you with.
Thank you all for tuning in. We hope today's discussion sparked some new thoughts. Remember, the journey of learning never ends. We invite you to join us again for future episodes and check out our past ones if you haven't already. Until next time, take care.
Thank you, listeners. I hope you gained something from this episode. And if you did, please let us know in the comments, like us, subscribe. And yes, thank you. I wish you all the best.
This concludes our episode. I hope you liked it. If you do, please like it and give me feedback. And I wish you all the best until you click again. Michael Appelt, My Conversations with AI, the podcast for you.